Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming. My name is Maria Karstarfin. I'm the superintendent of the Austin Independent School District. On behalf of the administration, I welcome you to this public hearing at the Caruth Administration Center here at the Board Auditorium at 1111 West 6th Street. I will now ask our translator to please step forward to make an announcement about the availability of interpretation services this evening.
Buenas noches, Superintendente Karstarfin. Mi nombre es Rubí Izar Shea, de la Oficina de Traducción e Interpretación del Distrito. Estoy aquí para ofrecer mis servicios de interpretación al español a las personas que los necesiten. Buenas noches.
Thank you. Gracias. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive public comment regarding the possibility of 2 single-sex middle schools in District 1. The administration has not finalized its recommendation on any of our annual academic and facility recommendations, nor has the board made any decisions on the subject at all. That is why we come to you for your input. Information about single-sex schools and the potential proposal can be found in English and Spanish on the table in the back room. For those of you who have attended multiple meetings, you will have seen this presentation multiple times. Speakers will be allowed 2 minutes to speak each, and the time may not be donated or yielded to other speakers. I'll be calling people in groups so that you can anticipate your turn. As you come to the microphone, there is a device that will light up as you move through your 2 minutes of allotted time. When the buzzer sounds, please quickly summarize your remarks so we can move forward and provide each person with the opportunity to speak. So we will begin now, and it looks like 3 trustees, just as they are walking in. They are welcome to sit in the audience or join me at the table if you're interested. Trustee Cheryl Bradley, welcome. I see Lori Moya and Christine Brister. So you're welcome to join us too. Yeah. Thanks. Tony Rayner, Steve Swanson, and Rebecca Bigler. And Ms. Rayner, you can step right up.
Good evening, everyone. Thank
Good
you.
evening.
My family lives in the 78723 zip code, which is, I actually graduated from LBJ High School, and I'm here to express that I am not in support of the single-sex concept. I feel that people are kind of like that yin-yang symbol, you know, with the black and white fish, that there is some female in every male and some male in every female, and that dividing people with the single gender is just dividing people. I really think that society benefits from the diversity of ideas, points of view, experience shared in communion at a public school. And I don't see any benefit whatsoever to the single gender situation. It's my experience that the parents that choose a single gender situation are usually doing it for another reason, such as religious preferences and so on, that would not apply to a Texas public school. I really hope that the trustees are still considering this and that their decision has not already been made. I just feel that this is another way to upset, especially Pierce Middle School, that has been through so many transitions over the last couple of years, and it's just painful to watch another one be ripped through them. And I guess I'll go ahead and just stop there. I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Steve Swanson.
Hi again, my name's Steve Swanson, and I've volunteered 5 years in the East Austin schools, was on the Campus Advisory Council for Eastside Memorial Johnston, plus I've been involved in a lot of other school circumstances over there. I participate on 3 task forces with the Joint Committee. The one is endeavoring, the judicial support is endeavoring to keep kids out of court and have communities be the source of solutions for our kids and their problems. The other one is to help kids get jobs that need jobs to stay in school and have that job be not only income but also get credit or a meaningful learning experience. And then also a mentoring program to help increase the number of mentors. I'm also part of a statewide effort with other business executives who are retired and former educators who are nationally recognized and university professors and students focused on connecting stories, collecting and connecting stories about communities connecting for youth throughout the state. I wish we could have one here. Tonight, I want to say I strongly encourage us to stop planning our schools and voting. I've made this request several times. There is an urgent need. We have an urgent need to change. But I think we should move our focus on what we're doing to schools and for schools and have that focus be on leadership. I'm nurtured and supported by the Texas Education Code, which has guidance for our school board members to provide authentic, community-based leadership for the success of our kids. And tonight, other than just making a speech, I've got some handouts for anybody in the audience who's interested in having a dialogue with the board members about what's in the code and what leadership means. And I'm hoping some of the board members will be the initiators of that dialogue, as well as other community members. And then I also have information that we're handing out for potential candidate forums. Not only does our current board need to know responsibilities associated with community-based leadership, but our future candidates need to do as well. And I was grateful on Saturday for Ms. Bradley to give me an opportunity to hand a request in, and I hope somebody responds to that request. So, thank you.
Thank you. Rebecca Bigler and Tony Wallace.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Bigler. I'm professor of psychology and women's and gender studies at the University of Texas in Austin. I've studied gender, race, and schooling issues for 25 years. I applaud the board's goal of trying to reduce racial, ethnic, and economic gaps in achievement and behavioral outcomes in schools. It's very important, but I disagree that single-sex schooling is an effective way to achieve that goal. Single-sex schooling will cost millions of dollars, will require children to change schools, and in the end, research suggests will be ineffective. I am just going to highlight 2 points. One is that the board has argued for single-sex schooling on the basis of differences in boys' and girls' brains and learning styles, citing widely a man named Leonard Sachs. This turns out to be patently incorrect. This year, Leonard Sachs has on multiple occasions made public statements recanting his own books and work. That is, he has argued he incorrectly understood material, scientific neuroscience studies that he was reading when writing his books. There are no very well-respected neuroscientists working today that claim boys' and girls' brains are so different that they relate to ways of curriculum, instruction, and learning in classrooms. Okay? So the differences we have are small and unrelated to what would happen in a classroom. The second problem is that when you base arguments on gender and brain differences, you end up with gender stereotyping. Research is clear that single-sex schooling facilitates gender stereotyping on the part of teachers and on the part of students. And the Department of Education has declared that basing curriculum on gender stereotypes is unconstitutional. As a part of that, the American Civil Liberties Union has started a national campaign to sue schools doing single-sex schooling based on arguments much like AISD has proposed. I worry AISD is making itself a target of ACLU lawsuits if it goes forward with this plan.
Thank you. Tony Wallace, Deanna Mercer, and Amanda Austin.
Greetings, everybody. I'm Tony Wallace. I am an advocate for the poor and needy. I'm also on the radio show talking about the homeless and other activist issues. Gender segregation is not needed. We are already separated by social class and economic challenges. A struggling school needs to be empowered by the parents, the encouragement from administration, and prayers are righteous. I grew up in a school similar to this, and single-sex schools may affect sexuality, immorality, and have a long-term impact on the community. I think we as a city and AISD need to pull together ideals and really think about a choice that will make it worse than what it already is. Dividing the school is not going to stop poor performance or the way things are going. But I think there needs to be more solutions to the education problems in the poverty areas and low-performing schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Deanna Mercer, Amanda Austin, Helen Miller.
Good evening. I'm Deanna Mercer, and good evening to the board and Dr. Kostofan. I'm here to express that I'm not in support of this decision to separate the students by gender in these two schools. We can regroup within schools any way we need to for learning. And I agree with everything Dr. Bigler said. Learning styles have no color. I have a learning style, you have a learning style. It has nothing to do with my gender or my race, but just my preference in relation to how I need to learn. It's the administrators and teachers who cause the school culture to either support student learning or not. Based on the presentations that have been given to us in the community, and it's not my first time expressing this, I think they're clearly racist and classist, because when you highlight the negatives, you're telling us that the glass is half empty. I approach teaching as the glass being half full. That way, I can build upon what students bring to the classroom. We know what works. We've been knowing for years. I've been in education over 40 years, and we know what works. And it's not separating kids by gender and having the same people teach them with the same deficits. We need to grow our administrators, and we need to grow our teachers. And again, I will say that the district has had lots of training with Ruby Payne's deficit training, the culture of poverty. I like the culture of good teaching and learning. And that's what we need to focus on. Give change a chance in our community. We've had too many changes. Our kids died at Reagan this past year. They were separated. We had no choice in what's happening. We have no choice in what happens to us. It's rammed down our throats, and this is 2012. It's time for us to empower ourselves as a community and demand that we are given the opportunity to change our schools. I have an article, and if anyone is interested in reading, the school I taught at in Louisiana, Northside High School, has turned itself around because the community was given an opportunity to empower themselves, and the students gave input, and they bought into what the school is going to be like, and the school is changing.
Thank you. Amanda Austin, Helen Miller, Charles Grand.
Hello, I hope everyone's ready for the beginning of the school year. So a couple of points I wanted to make is, one, I feel like pretty obvious that women have fought throughout our lives for equality in education and careers and in voting and these things, and I feel like the attempt to pull boys and girls apart is just another stab at the fights that we've been winning throughout the years. If the theory for segregation, which I've kind of heard one theory is to prevent like teenage pregnancy, maybe we should think about employing better sex education programs so that students don't feel the need to so that they actually know better whenever they're engaging in these actions. And then if the thoughts that girls will work better without pressure from boys, maybe we should teach teachers a little bit more about how to empower women and how to not bring sexism into the classroom, and how to encourage boys also to empower women, and encourage boys to show their artistic or emotional sides or whatever. I feel like these things don't need to be pulled apart. In all my years in college studying human development and education, never once was I ever told that students learn differently because they're a female or male. All people learn differently, and it's the job of the teacher to provide differential instruction for each kid based upon their own learning needs. And that doesn't mean gender, it could be ability, it could be anything. And if teachers are having a hard time right now providing that differential instruction, maybe we should look at the issues of high stakes testing and how much testing we're doing in the schools. If we could take it back and withdraw some of these benchmark tests that are just district mandated and provide more time in the classroom for instruction for teachers to, provide really one-on-one instruction, that could be I think something that would be better than segregating girls and boys. So overall, though, I'd really encourage the board to really listen to the community, and it is actually something that you should take into consideration. And just because you think it's a really good idea, if everybody's telling you that they don't want it, then it shouldn't be that way. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Helen Miller, Charles Grand.
I'm here tonight because I have a concern about why there are not more parents in this auditorium. And on Saturday at the meeting, before the meeting, there was a lot of publicity about the meeting that was going to be held at LBJ on this past Saturday. Well, this meeting tonight, we did not get a robot call out about the meeting tonight. The parents didn't, not from Garcia. I did not receive an email, nor my daughter received an email about this meeting tonight. And I just happened to be watching Channel 24 News yesterday at noon, and it came on and said about the meeting tonight here. So I don't think it's right and fair that parents in the Garcia community, I have no idea about the Pierce community, why we did not receive emails. I received an email on July 27 about the meeting at LBJ. I received 2. I received a robot call. But this time, this meeting, I just heard on Saturday there was going to be a meeting Tuesday, July 31st, but it didn't say what time or where the meeting was going to be held. So that's my concern, because most of the parents in the Garcia community did not know about this meeting. Maybe some more parents would have been here tonight.
Charles Grand.
Hey, my name is Charles Grand. I'm a graduate of AISD. My whole public education was in this district, and now I'm back living in the city, which means I think I have the right, despite the neighborhood I live in, to actually have some input on this, especially since it's my understanding that initiatives like this, along with initiatives like IDEA, charter schools and so forth, are models and experiments to at some point be replicated across the district. So I think me planning my life here, I should have some input in terms of how things are going to play out for when I have children and the kind of school system they're going to go into. And I think just like, well, I'll just start off by saying that clearly education reform is something that's absolutely necessary all across the country, but it seems that the initiatives that are being put in place are having a pretty detrimental effect on public education as far as I'm concerned, especially to the degree in which they're sort of railroaded in communities where there is what I believe districts and private charter companies view as communities that can easily be marginalized and have your way with such an experiment. And I think the sister who brought up the issue of the robocalls and how much publicity was behind generating the panel discussion with the experts and so forth, and then no real attempt to generate participation from the community for this is a really good indication of the intentions of, I believe, the board. And ultimately, call me a cynic if you'd like, but it seems like this is somewhat of a foregone conclusion despite what y'all say. But I guess I just want to make a point that I reiterate the points that this is an initiative based on inconclusive studies. It's an initiative that will enhance stereotyping and misogyny, and not even to speak of the consideration that needs to be paid to the LGBT community in adolescence, in middle school. I think that gender segregated schools, without a very hard initiative into dealing with that question there, understanding gender fluidity and accommodating students and protecting them from bullying, and I'm against this.
This concludes the sign up for the public hearing. Thank you for participating tonight. We will take this information and include it in our report to the board as they lead up to their continued discussions on annual academic and facility recommendations. Thank you.